Haribo?
I think 177, Prabhu.
No, we didn't. I didn't remember Kashi Mishra telling Chaitanya Prabhu, what is the use of you begging?
We
The
have to do that.
76, no. 76 I remember reading.
Yes, Prabhu. 77 we should do.
Because Mahaprabhu said, I want to sit in a solitary place.
Mm.
And then he wants to remember the lotus feet of Lord. That is true. Yeah, correct. And we talked about, right? Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur telling that one should not chant or perform devotion service in a solitary place because of attack of Maya. Then we gave examples from Prabhupada. So we talked about all those things. There are exceptional devotees like Haridas Thakur, right, who used to meditate in a solitary place, but we can't imitate them. They're all exceptional personalities. So we discussed that also. Okay, so good. So we should now be Sahajas, just like in Vrindavan, and trying to mimic them. Okay. Hello? Huh? रमेश किधर से? हाँ बोलिए ऐसी रमेश. हाँ जी मैं कंपाइल करना बाकी है थोड़ा वो दिन एक हेलो टेल मी सर. So I've just compiled it and sent to the distributor. They said we'll just check the stock and we'll get back to me. They have not yet come back to me. I'll just check and tell you, sir. By tomorrow, I'll tell you, sir. If it's ready, I'll immediately deliver it. No problem. I'll move out. Okay. Okay, sir. Huh? Thank you. Hare Krishna, sorry. Some calls. Okay, let's read from 177.
Yeah. Chaitanya Caritamrita, Madhya Lila, chapter 11, verse number 177. मिश्रा कहे सबा तुम्हारा चाह के कारणे अपना इच्छाया लाहा यही तुम्हारा माने. Translation by Srila Prabhupada, Jai Srila Prabhupada. Kasi Mishra said, Kasi Mishra then told Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, everything belongs to you. What is the use of you? You are begging. By your own will, you can take whatever you like. Hare Krishna.
So what context Kasi Mishra is now telling Chaitanya Mahaprabhu?
That is that he wanted a solitary place.
Yeah, he wanted a separate room. So hence he was asking, can I get something like that? So Kasi Mishra is replying. Okay, good. So now 178.
Hare Krishna, text 11.178. Ami dui hai tomara dasa agnakari ye chaha se agna deha kripakari. My Lord, we are your two servants and are here just to carry out your orders. By your mercy, please tell us to do whatever you want. Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare. Okay, so these are very important behaviors, right? About acknowledging the position of the Lord, acknowledging our servitude. The same attitude we also demonstrate with senior Vaishnavas or spiritual masters, because they are also order carriers of the Lord. So let's look at these three documents: the Bhagavad Gita, the Srimad Bhagavatam, and Chaitanya Caritamrita, right? In Bhagavad Gita, what did we learn? We learned the rules of connecting with the Lord through the yoga process. And when you connect with the Lord, if you deviate or if you take non-standard methods, or if you do activities that directly violate religious principles, what are the reactions, right? So then we understood that. Then we understood that how our body, that is senses, how when they are used in service of Krishna, they are very beneficial for our progress. How when the service are not connected to the Lord, how they deteriorate, right? Including the law in the second chapter when Arjuna asks those 4 questions. Asking, what are the qualities of a Sthita Prajna? Okay, so we learned all those things as one part. The second part, Lord is trying to tell, okay, you're trying to connect with me. What is your benefit? So you may ask, hey, I'm trying to join this organization to do some service. What will I get in return? So similarly, Lord is telling Arjuna, by doing this yoga process, what do you get in return? Right? So you're telling, you're connecting with the Supreme Lord, and what's the nature of the Supreme Lord is what he's trying to explain. Okay, so that's all the second part of the chapters. The last part of the chapters, in this journey, how Prakriti, or how the 3 modes of nature, how these various activities go on. So Lord is concluding in the last 6 chapters. And the 18 chapters is a summary. So the summary ended with by saying, Sarva Dharman Parityaja. Hey, I told you to reinstate religiosity, but I'm telling you, I am greater than religion, or I am religion. So your actual surrender to me is the highest meaning of religion. So Lord concludes like that. Okay, good. Now, when the Acharya writes Srimad Bhagavatam, what did he talk about? He talked about it. It is mainly around the 6 questions of the stages of Naimisharanya. The main focus is, after Krishna left this world, Dharma took shelter of whom? Because when Krishna was there, Dharma took shelter of Krishna. After Krishna left, Dharma took shelter of Srimad Bhagavatam. So the scripture concluded that Srimad Bhagavatam is not different from the Supreme Lord himself. Okay. Then, in the whole explanation, a lot of emphasis were given on about creation, the position of all the Purusha avatars and all those things. And then later on, it's fully about various pastimes of the Lord and various pastimes of the devotees and how we need to practice devotion. And the 10th canto is the crest jewel, the nectar. How do you understand Lord and his pastimes directly? Right? So it's all about the 10th canto. Now, you understood about Lord, you understood about various devotees and things like that. But there is something missing now. What is missing? While I conduct myself in this material world, while I'm trying to practice devotion, there are many things I have to do. So devotion is a combination of, kirtanam, that is chanting the holy name, reading the scriptural books on a regular basis, then shravanam, hearing from realized souls, and the association of devotees, serving, to constantly mend our consciousness towards servitude. So all these things are different branches of this devotion service. Now, what is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu doing now? He is trying to give us examples under every very small situation. How do I conduct myself? How do I speak? What do I speak? How do I deal with devotees, non-devotees? How do I deal with rich people, poor people? So Mahaprabhu himself is setting an example and he is showing us how to lead this life. Because we are going to lead a life among or in a society where 99% are non-devotees. 99% of devotees are filled with pride and enviness. So Mahaprabhu is now teaching every detailing. How do I handle this situation? Right? Now, in this current case, Kashi Mishra is the owner of this house. Correct? Kashi Mishra is the owner of this house. Now, Mahaprabhu may say, hey, I am the creator. I own everything. So why should I ask you, Kashi Mishra? Kashi Mishra, come on, give me this room. Then I need to go meditate in that room. Mahaprabhu could have easily ordered, given his position, but he did not. So that means Mahaprabhu is teaching us some message that even though you may be head of a state, head of an institution, and head of a group, head of an opulence, you cannot behave in that manner. So you see the difference between Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, and Chaitanya Charitamrita. So Chaitanya Charitamrita is not just like reading Srimad Bhagavatam. At least Srimad Bhagavatam is straightforward, you can read, no problem. But Chaitanya, you have to introspect. How do I deal in the particular situation? And that's why Chaitanya Charitamrita is so important for every devotee. After you read Bhagavatam, you need to read Chaitanya Charitamrita on a regular basis to mend your consciousness. How can I lead a life without offense? How can I still make a situation or an activity to move forward? That's what Mahaprabhu is trying to teach you. So when we read Chaitanya Charitamrita, we have to have this mode. We have to always think, why did Mahaprabhu do this? What is he trying to accomplish? What is he demonstrating to us? If you keep asking this question in every theme, in every situation, you'll get answer from Mahaprabhu. Don't read Chaitanya Charitamrita because, okay, he's a servant, he's not a carrier, so what? No, please don't read like that. You will not understand the mood of Mahaprabhu. If the mood of Mahaprabhu is understood, you will unlock the intelligence of this scripture. It's very important to have that thought process. That is the difference between a great soul and us. That's the difference between a realized soul and us. Any thoughts on these finer aspects? In the last 11 chapters, how many events and situations we've come across, we've learned many, many behaviors, how Mahaprabhu acts. This is all a box full of jewels and nothing else. No thoughts?
So, Prabhu, this Chaitanya Charitamrita is the practical application of Bhakti Yoga and the principles of Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam.
Yeah, but while you're practicing, see, Mataji, now devotion, you can go, you can chant your rounds and you can go to temple and you can do some service, you can do this, you can do that. But while doing that, you may make many offenses in dealing with people, in dealing with the deities, in dealing with the paraphernalia. Correct?
Yes, Prabhu.
So now there are going to be many tricky situations. How do you deal? That's what Mahaprabhu is trying to teach you here.
Okay. Thank you, Prabhu.
Small things. Now look at this situation he's dealing with. When the devotees came directly to see Mahaprabhu without going to Jagannath temple, what did Mahaprabhu tell them? He served them, okay, serve nice prasad. Okay, good, you had prasad. What's your duty now? Everyone, when they hear or see, they have to pay their obeisances to the deities of Lord Jagannath or Krishna. Right?
Yes,
When they were missing it, Mahaprabhu subtly indicated, hey, what is your prime duty as a devotee? You better do that. Correct?
Yes,
So that's the key aspect. Now, you might, if you want, you come to our temple, ICC temple, and I'll only show you. Many devotees, they come to temple, no? They would come, they would straight away focus on their activity or the speech they want to do. They'll forget their obeisances to Srila Prabhupada and to Krishna. They'll completely forget. They'll come, they'll do some activity. I keep observing all these things. Now, why is because it is not that they're offenders or anything like that. It is just that the practical application of devotional practices are not principled in their heart. Small things they're missing. And that's what Mahaprabhu teaches us. Huh?
Yes, Prabhu. Yes, Prabhu.
So please have that consciousness while read Chaitanya Charitamrita. Okay, 11. So that's why this document is completely different from Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita. Completely different. And you'll see more nectar as we read the next chapters. Even in this Beda Kirtans also. Superb. You can see how Pratap Rudra is bewildered with Mahaprabhu's behavior. Right? He's asking, right, Sarvam Bhattacharya, how come this is true? Sarvam Bhattacharya is giving his own examples. I was sleeping and I got up and didn't even take bath, and Mahaprabhu was standing there with Mahaprasad. What I had to do? I took it and ate it. So he's telling Pratap Rudra the highest importance to give to an offering by senior Vaishnava, one. Second, Mahaprasad. Correct? So now we can introspect. Hey, okay, what should I do? What am I doing? Am I choosy when someone serves prasadam? I like puri and sabji, but others I hate, I don't like, so I don't eat them. Right? If that consciousness, then how will we serve Mahaprasadam? How will we honor Mahaprasadam? Right? We are in the center of that consciousness. So small things that needs to be focused. That's what we're going to learn here. Okay, now let's read further. 179. Someone read.
Text 179. Etaka hi dui jane vidayala ida Gopinatha Vaninatha Dunhe Sange Nila. Translation. Saying this, Kashi Mishra and the temple inspector took their leave. And Gopinatha and Vaninatha went with them. Hare Krishna.
Right. Okay. So who's this temple inspector? What was his role?
Kashinath Mishra.
Temple inspector. Kashi Mishra is the administrative head.
Provide all facilities to the devotees.
Provide all facilities. Correct. He is the temple in charge. He was helping with residential accommodation, prasadam, timely prasadam. So he came. He greeted the devotees. He said, okay, I know this. Correct? Good. Yeah, 11.180.
Krishna. Text 180. Gopinatha Dekila Sabha Vasagara Vaninatha Tani Dila Prasada Vistara. Translation by Prabhupada, Jai Srila Prabhupada. Gopinatha was then shown all the residential places, and Vaninatha was given large quantities of food, Mahaprasadam, left by the Lord Jagannath. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, good, right? So now who's showing? The temple authority. He's showing to Gopinath, hey, this is all the residential places. Vaninatha, this is all the prasad that's available. Use it in service of the Vaishnavas. Right? Okay, good. 181.
Vaninatha Aila Bahu Prasada Pita Lana Gopinatha.
No, that's not the way to read.
Okay.
Vaninatha Aila Bahu Prasada. Vaninatha Aila Bahu Prasada. Prasada Pita Lana. So you have to break at Bahu.
Okay. Vaninatha Aila Bahu Prasada Pita Lana Gopinatha Aila Vasa Samskara Kariya. Translation by Srila Prabhupada, Jai Srila Prabhupada. Thus, Vaninatha Raya returned with large quantities of Lord Jagannath's food remnants, including cakes and other good eatables. Gopinatha Acharya also returned after cleansing all the residential quarters. Hare Krishna.
Super. So making the place ready to serve the Vaishnavas. Okay, 182. Take your turns.
Text 11.192.
Mahaprabhu Kaheswala Sarva Vaishnava Gana Nija Nija Vasha Tabe Karaha Gamana. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then addressed all the Vaishnavas and requested that they listen to him. He said, now you can go to your respective residential quarters.
Okay. 183.
Text 183. Samudra Snana Kari. So Samudra Snana Kari Kara Chuda Darashana Tabe Adi Ihan Asi Kari De Bojana.
Go to the sea.
Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then addressed all the Vaishnavas and
No. What are you doing? What is you're reading 183 sloka, and you're
183. Sorry, Prabhu.
you're reading 182 text.
Yeah. Kannada I read and by seeing this one. Okay. Go to the sea and bathe and look at the top of the temple. After so doing, please come back here and take your lunch. Right.
So what's the learning here?
He's saying that go to the Samudra, have the bath, and then look at the Sudarshan Chakra at the top of the temple, and afterwards come and take your lunch.
So why is he saying Sudarshan Chakra?
Sudarshan Chakra is just like having Darshana Darshana.
It's not
as
different.
good as we are taking the darshan of Jagannath inside
Jagannath.
the temple.
Correct. So you're going to take bath outside somewhere, right? Then again you have to go inside temple and see Jagannath. It'll be difficult. So see Chakra. Oh, that's Lord Jagannath. Okay, I saw him. I took darshan. Pay your obeisances and then come. See, look at it practically now. Now you may go out in the beach, or you may be walking out somewhere there. Just by seeing that chakra, you can finish the darshan. Right? Amazing, right?
Oh, even those who are not allowed to enter Jagannath temple also can have
They
this.
can also, correct. That's also true. In fact, Haridas Thakur did that. Okay. 184.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Text 184. Prabhu Namaskari Sabe Vasate Chalila Gopinatha Charya Sabe Vasastana Dila. Translation: after offering obeisances to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, all the devotees departed for their residences, and Gopinatha Acharya showed them their respective quarters. Hare Krishna.
Big quarters. Okay. So it's not about just showing them, but they were cleansed, they were ready, and then they were shown the places. Okay. 185.
185 text. Mahaprabhu Ayela Tabe Haridasa Milane Haridasa Kare Preme Nama Sankirtane. After this, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went to meet Haridasa Thakura, and he saw him engaged in chanting the Mahamantra with ecstatic love. Haridasa chanted, Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.
Hare
Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare
Hare. Hare Krishna.
Okay, 186.
Hare
Krishna.
Okay, go ahead, Mataji. Prabhu Deki Pada Age Dandavatsana Prabhu Alingana Kaila Tantre Hutana.
As soon as
Translation.
Haridasa.
As soon as Haridasa Thakura saw Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he immediately fell down like a stick to offer him obeisance. And Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu raised him up and embraced him. Hare Krishna.
Okay, so what are the learnings?
So we have to offer obeisances as soon as we.
Yeah, we don't deliberate. Oh, should I do? I already offered in the morning. Should I do in the evening? So, no deliberation. That's why he uses the word dandavats. Dandavats means no hindrances, just like the falling stick. Okay. So now, what is the second part? It tells us. Second part tells us.
How he reciprocates.
So Lord likes it. Lord likes that kind of a dandavat behavior. So what does the Lord do? He reciprocates. I'm very pleased, so I'm embracing you. So when Lord is pleased in embracing you, he immediately showers his mercy on us. So that's the two meanings to be understood here. Okay. 187.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, text 187. Duye jane prema veshe karena kandane Prabhu gune bhrutya vikala Prabhu bhrutya gune. Translation. Then both the Lord and his servant began to cry in ecstatic love. Indeed, the Lord was transformed by the qualities of his servant, and the servant was transformed by the qualities of his master. Purport. The Mayavadi philosophers say that the living entity and the Supreme Lord are non-different, and therefore they equate the transformation of the living entity with the transformation of the Lord. In other words, Mayavadis say that if the living entity is pleased, the Lord is also pleased. And if the living entity is displeased, the Lord is also displeased. Is the other way, no problem. By juggling
finish reading. Finish reading. Let's dissect.
By juggling words in this way, Mayavadis try to prove that there is no difference between the living entity and the Lord. This, however, is not a fact. In this verse, Krishnadasa Kaviraja Goswami explains, Prabhu Gune Bhritya Vikala, Prabhu Bhritya Gune. The Lord and the living entity
are equal. Left hand side top.
Not equal. Not equal, for the Lord is always the master and the living entity is always the servant. Transformation takes place due to transcendental qualities, and it is thus said that the servant of the Lord is the heart of the Lord, and the Lord is the heart of the servant. This is also explained by Lord Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita 4.11. Ye yata mam prapadyante tam stataiva bhajamyaham mama vartamanu vartante manushya partha sarvashaha. As all surrender unto me, I reward them accordingly. Everyone follows my path in all respects, O son of Pritha. The Lord is always eager to congratulate the servant because of the servant's transcendental qualities. The servant pleasingly renders service unto the Lord, and the Lord also very pleasingly reciprocates, rendering even more service unto the servant. Hare Krishna.
What brilliant explanation.
Yes.
Okay, let's see what is the issue with Mayavada philosopher. So what is he saying first? Try to answer, Mataji. What is he saying first part?
Mayavadi philosophers, they think that the living beings can become God, Prabhu, if they develop transcendental qualities. So here they are telling if the servant is pleased, the master is pleased. And if the master is pleased, the servant is pleased. But in Bhakti Yoga, it's not like that.
Pause. Okay, what's the issue here?
So issue is it's exactly opposite of what we have to do, Prabhu. We have to please the Lord. And if the Lord is pleased, naturally all of us will be pleased.
Okay, now what about the first part? Equating transformation, living entity will transform into Lord. So how can we disprove that?
So in the Bhagavad Gita, it says, Tam stataiva bhajamyaham. So the Lord will reciprocate according to our surrender.
No, you see my question.
Okay.
They're saying the living entity will transform into Lord.
No, that is not correct, Prabhu. We are always.
So how do you disprove that? How do you disprove that?
Because we are only a tiny part of the Lord, Prabhu. Lord is Vibhu and we are Anu. So we can never become equal to the Lord, Prabhu.
Okay. Then what any other argument you can give to prove your comment?
Lord is the maintainer and we are maintained. We are always dependent on his mercy, Prabhu. We are not that independent.
Okay. How do you focus on a living entity can never transform into the Lord?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Yes, Mataji.
Prabhu, soul, our Jivatma soul cannot merge with that of the Lord.
Okay.
because we have seen in Bhagavad Gita, the soul is indivisible and all those things. So the living entity can never be transformed to the Lord. It cannot be equal to, the first thing is it is a fragmental part and parcel of the Lord.
So
And
from a
another-
fragmental, it cannot become a absolute state. So no transformation can happen. Bhagavad Gita says that. Okay, excellent. So 2 good points came. Okay, any more?
We are one at the same time. We are not. We are different.
You're
Much
one
in
and
the
different at
way.
the same time. Okay, so that is from a service aspect. Okay. Now here, why a living entity cannot transform into a Lord? So 2 good points came. Any other points we can add?
Prabhu, he is energetic and we are energy.
Yeah, that is true, but why we can't transform? Mayavadi says we can transform, no? How do you disprove that we can't transform?
Prabhu, we can use this point of Jivera Swarupa. This thing is, we are servants. We are not lords at all. So we never.
What Mayavadi is saying, you're a servant only, I agree, but you by realizing you'll become God, he's saying.
When we are in the mode of servants, then that will not happen, no, Prabhu. That is our thing. Mayavadis, it becomes wrong.
But that doesn't hold the argument here, no?
Okay, Prabhu.
At the time of Pralaya and at the time of creation, the living beings are entering into Garbhodaksha Vishnu and coming out. So there is no question of transformation.
Okay, so there's no question of transformation. So they are dependent on the Lord for creation, maintenance, and destruction. Okay. So there's no transformation of the living entities. Okay. So now I agree to this point. Now let's look at this point. When can we be called servants of the Lord? When we are going to serve a master. Correct? Now, let's say I also become the Lord, then where is the servitude attitude? There's no more service. Instead of render service, I will now accept service. Correct? Now, if all of us become Lord, then all of us become equal to that Creator. So then all of us become fully Brahman. And we merge with the Lord and we become a single entity. That's the point that Mayavadis are arguing. Unless there is a master to accept a service, there is no servant. So that means finally what we are saying, that one day all of us will become Lord and there will not be any servants in this world. If there is no servants in this world, that means there is no master also in this world. Agreed?
Yes, Prabhu.
Correct? When there's no servant, there's no master also. Then the definition of Lord, the definition of living entity, all those things goes away. You see how meaningless it is.
Yes.
Okay. So now they only juggle words, but in reality, they cannot prove that point. Okay. So now, how he is befitting the sloka of Bhagavad Gita, ye yata mam prapadyante. He says, for example, a child gets good marks in the school or college. He's been awarded. The parents, by the institution, by the government. Correct? So that means, according to the child's effort, there is a higher authority which does awarding. That is called reciprocation. So similarly, when devotional service is practiced by that living entity, the Lord reciprocates by giving his love, affection, and mercy, shelter onto that living entity. So that means both of them are said to serving each other in one context. That is what another way to look at it. But that servitude cannot be accepted as dasya bhava. It is the mercy of the Lord given in order for the living entity to progress further. Now, just because I served and the Lord reciprocates in a pleasing manner, It does not mean he is also taking a position of a servant. Which means the greater the, the greater the quality of my service, the greater the pleasing of the Lord. And that's how the servitude attitude of a devotee keeps on growing, because he is nourished by that mercy and the pleasure that the Lord gave him. That is the point here is been addressed. So now, purpose of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu coming. Krishna is asking Radharani, what is it that makes you to be always in a state of bliss? And your blissful state is ever increasing. What makes you to be doing that? So he's puzzled. So he wants to know what is in the consciousness of Radharani, Srimati Radharani, that makes her to be unendingly, unlimitedly blissful and joyous. Here the position is Srimati Radharani is servant of Godhead and Lord is the Supreme Lord. He is the giver, she is the receiver. So what makes her to receive so much that she is in the highest state of bliss? By her humble, menial servant attitude towards the Lord. She just does whatever pleases the Lord. And she does anything and everything in order to increase the transcendental pleasure of the Lord. Hence, she is in a state of the highest bliss. And in order to know that secret, Krishna said, okay, I'll come as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to know that. So you can see how all these things, they connect together. Are the points clear?
Prabhu, the 3 points, can you repeat, Prabhu, once? One is about the size, then the servant and the master relationship. And what was the second point?
In the previous paragraph.
Yes, Prabhu.
So the point is, if there is a servant, there is a Lord. If all servants become Lord, there is no servant, then the Lord also doesn't exist.
Yeah. Yes, Prabhu.
There is no one to give him service, correct? So hence, the Mayada philosophy cannot be true. Even theoretically, even logically also it cannot be true. Forget what the Shastra can say. Right? Okay. Okay, so 11.188. So,
can you differentiate between the Mayavadi and impersonalist?
okay, so impersonalist, they don't give form to the Lord. They say everything is Maya. There is no form at all. And they are thinking that nirvana means negating all material activities is nirvana. But here, in the Vaishnava philosophy, nirvana means use every material not in one's self-enjoyment, but use it in service of the Lord. And that is nirvana. That means completely convert every aspect of the material elements into service of the Lord. So, the impersonalist thinks everything is impersonal. I think Krishna is also impersonal. Okay? So, Mayavada, impersonal. And Sahajya means assuming ourselves to be one of the great closer personality of the Lord, or Lord himself sometimes. Oh, I am Srimati Radharani. So what all Srimati Radharani may do, they may assume those characters, their consciousness, assume, not reality. And then they play that with in their life. Like, oh, this is how Srimati Radharani played a rasa dance. I'll also play the same rasa dance because he is Krishna. So like that. So that is Sahajya. Sahajya means mimicking a true personality, saying that I am like that. Okay? So
Mayavadis are like Shankara philosophy, Prabhu.
Who?
Mayavadis?
Mayavadis are like Shankara philosophy, correct? Because they follow Advaitam, Ekatvam.
Okay.
impersonalists, they kill all the forms of the Lord. Okay. Yes, Madhya.
Prabhu, now when Krishna wants to know, Krishna takes the form of Radharani Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He wants to know the conscience of Radharani.
Yeah. He wants to know what is in her heart that makes her so blissful. Now, I'll give you a simple example, Mataji. Let's say you're doing wonderful service and you're very humble. I come and ask you directly the reason for all these things. If you're really humble, you will never tell the truth. Because telling the truth is a dimension of pride and not humility. Oh, you know what? I'm always thinking of Krishna. Yeah, that's why I'm like this. See, there's no humility there. There's pride in it.
Correct.
So, Radharani will demonstrate shyness rather than telling the facts to Krishna.
Okay.
So now Krishna has to find a method
Okay.
how to steal her consciousness.
Correct. Okay. Yes, Prabhu.
Correct?
Okay.
And hence, he takes the Lila. He comes the lead, does the Lila of Sri Chaitanya.
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you, Prabhu. So much of depth is there in that.
Okay, good.
Thank
Okay,
you.
let's do 188. Who's not taken a turn to read? Please read.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Text 188.
Ah.
Haridasa kahe Prabhu nacho niyo more muni nicha aspursha parama pamare. Haridas Thakur said, "My dear Lord, please do not touch me, for I am most fallen and untouchable, and I am the lowest among men."
So why does Haridas Thakur say here that?
He is Muslim Ashudra.
Muslim community.
Okay, he's Muslim, Mohammedan. Okay, then what else? Is
And
that
he is most humble Prabhu. So he is telling that words.
Okay, he's demonstrating his humility, but any other reason why he's saying I'm not touchable? See, for example, let's take example. In case of Murari Gupta or in case of Sanatana Goswami, what did they say? They said, don't touch me, Mahaprabhu, because the body that we possess was developed, maintained by money fed by a Mlecha king. Okay. So this body is full of sins. So please don't touch the body. Okay. So they said that. Mahaprabhu went and embraced. Okay, good. Now, why is Haridas Thakur saying? He's saying, I am the most fallen, untouchable. He tells his humility. I am the lowest among men.
Sure. Social norms of that day, Prabhu. It was like that.
The social norms were fallen, untouchable. It tells the social norms. But I am the lowest among men. Why would he tell that to Mahaprabhu and tell them not touch me?
Don't know, Prabhu. Don't know. Parama pamare.
Okay. So, for example, in Puri, we have this custom that non-Hindu personality cannot enter the temple. Why is the non-Hindu? It is not a Hindu temple, that's why they're saying that. No. It means Hindu means he will not be a meat eater. He will be a man who practices religiosity. He will practice Varnashrama system. What is Varnashrama system? According to Varna and his ashrama, he will do his service. Right? Swanuttatasya dharmasya samsiddhir haritosham. By doing that, he will reach or realize Lord Hari. Okay. So that means Hindu was acceptable because they have God consciousness. Okay. In a non-Hindu religion, in that definition, it means that they do not practice samsiddhir haritosham. Okay. They may be meat eaters and they don't surrender to Lord Hari. Their practices are different. They may have changed, but still they're born in that community. Here in this context is Mohammedan community. So they're saying, if you're a non-Hindu, you cannot enter. You may be a great personality. I don't care. They don't enter. So now they have categorized Haridas Thakur as a Mlecha or a Sudra. Why? You might be chanting the holy name. You might be following certain principles, but by birth you are a Mohammedan. So they have categorized him as a lowborn. So now Haridas Thakur is saying that I recognize that fact, that I'm a lowborn. So why you want to come and touch me, Mahaprabhu? Don't touch me. I'm a sinful man. Because Lord Jagannath did not allow non-Hindu to enter the temple, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is not different from Lord Jagannath. So he's telling, don't associate, don't touch with me. Okay, so there are two aspects. One is humility, and one is he's giving his connect to his lineage or his background. Okay, 189.
189. प्रभु कहे तुम्हारा स्पर्शी पवित्र हाईते तुम्हारा पवित्र धर्म नाही का आमाते. Lord said, I wish to touch you just to be purified, for your purified activities do not exist in me. Perfect. This is an example of reciprocation of feelings between master and servant. Servant thinks that he is the most impure and the master should not touch him. And the master thinks that because he has become impure by associating with so many impure living entity, he should touch a pure devotee like Haridas Thakur just to purify himself. Actually, both the servant and the master are already purified because neither of them is in touch with the impurities of material existence. They are already in the quality, equal. They are equal in the quality because both of them are purest. There's a difference in quantity. However, because the master is unlimited and servant is limited, consequently, the servant always remains subordinate to the master, and this relationship is eternal and undisturbed. As soon as servant feels like becoming the master, he falls into Maya. Thus, it is by misuse of free will that one falls under the influence of Maya.
Pause here. This is a very, very important philosophy to understand. When do we get influenced by Maya? Can you repeat the answer?
As soon as we think we will become the master.
Correct. Once we think that I can also become a master, like Krishna, like Radharani, I'm influenced by Maya. And once I get influenced by Maya, this world, this Prakriti is ruled by Mahamaya. So we fall into her deepest illusion and completely change the course of our life. This is very, very important. Now, look at the way Mayavada philosophers have fallen down. Let's read in the next paragraph. Read, Prabhu.
The Mayavadi philosophers try to explain the equality of master and servants in terms of quantity. But they fail to explain why, if the master and servant are equal, the servant falls victim to Maya. They try to explain that when servant, the living entity, is out of clutches of Maya, he immediately becomes the so-called master again. Such an explanation is never satisfactory. Being unlimited, the master cannot become victim of Maya. For in such a case, his unlimitedness would be crippled or limited. Thus, the Mayavadi explanation is not correct. The fact is that master is always a master and unlimited, and the servant, being limited, is sometimes curtailed by the influence of Maya. Maya is also master's energy and also unlimited. Therefore, the limited servant and the limited living entity is forced to remain under the master or the master's potency, Maya. Being freed from Maya's influence, one again becomes pure servant and even qualitatively to the Lord, equal qualitatively to the Lord. The relationship between master and servant continues due to their being unlimited and limited respectively. Hare Krishna.
Okay, if you did not follow the words sequence correctly, you would have not understood this. You all understand this paragraph? What is the key here?
It's like qualitatively equal, but quantitatively small.
No, that's not the point.
Servant remains servant, master remains master.
Okay. You gave the conclusion straight away. So the purport is trying to fight a very important key point that if the servant is somehow able to get purified and he became Lord. Now you're telling this servant was one time Lord, because of impurity he fell down into Maya. That means this Lord can become impurified and this Maya will be superior to the Lord. How can energy of the Lord be superior to him? Your byproduct is getting superior to you. That's what you're trying to say, which is impossible.
Why not, Prabhu? Our byproduct will be our children, and they can be superior to us, no, Prabhu.
No, they are not your byproduct. You are instrument for the byproduct. You fail to understand that point.
Okay. In that way, then, okay, they cannot become.
You are an instrument for them to enter the world. They were not produced by you. They were produced by the Lord.
Yes.
So you are telling that the sunlight is superior to the sun globe itself. How is it possible? Is it possible, Mataji?
No problem.
So, if he's been under the clutches of Maya, then how can he be ever a Lord? A Lord can never come under the clutches of Maya. Correct? So it means the Lord never fell down to become a servant. And it is never that the Lord is going to become a servant, is going to become pure and become a Lord. He says this is impossible to happen. Is that point clear?
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay. So master remains as the master and servant remains as a servant. The only difference is the servant either gets into an impurified state or a purified state. In a purified state, he goes back to the Vaikuntha planets. In the impurified state, he is fully illusion and stays under the clutches of Maya. That is all. This is the position of servant. Okay. Now, what is the meaning of impure state to pure state? The qualitativeness of the living entities is fully manifest. Otherwise, the qualities of that living entity is fully curtailed. In a pure state, it fully manifests. In impure state, it is fully curtailed. That is the position of a servant. If you understand this, we never get confused with the Mayavada philosophy. Okay, let's read 190.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, text 190. Shane Shane Karatumi Sarva Tirthi Sana. Sane Sane Sana.
Snana, taking bath.
Sana. Shana. Yeah, Shane Shane Karatumi Yajna Tapo Dana. Translation. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu exhorted Haridasa Thakur, stating, at every moment you take your bath in all these holy places of pilgrimage, and at every moment you perform great sacrifice, austerity and charity. Like Krishna.
So how is it possible?
So taking, going to pilgrimage and perform great sacrifice.
Read the comment. He says, at every moment you take bath in all the holy places. How is it possible?
Chanting Hare Krishna.
By holy name.
Yeah, correct. The holy name is the topmost. By doing that, you're doing this. Okay. 191.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, text 11.191. Nirantara kare chari veda adhyayana dvijanyasi aita tumi parama pavana. You are constantly studying the four Vedas and you are far better than any Brahmana or Sannyasi.
Yes, I see. So do you know the pastime of Haridas Thakur? What happened about his purity? Commissioner, you know, no? The pastime?
Which one, Prabhu?
lighting of the kusagras.
No, Prabhu. No, Prabhu.
So Sarvamata invites all the Vaishnavas to offer the Shraddh Bhojan. Right? So all the Vaishnavas or Brahmanas have been called and everyone is being made to sit. And then they put the leaf and everything is served. In the same place, the same hall, in one of the rows or one corner, Haridas Thakur has also been invited and he's sitting and honoring Prasad. When all the Brahmanas saw that Haridas Thakur is a Sudra, how can he also sit there and eat among them? Then they said, we won't eat, we'll stand up. They all stood up. So in order to prove the purity of Haridas Thakur to be at a higher position compared to the Brahmanas, they gave the kusagras in the hands of all the Brahmanas, including Haridas Thakur. Haridas Thakur, by just holding the kusagras and chanting the mantra, he was able to lighten the kusagras. It got fired. None of the Brahmanas could do. So they proved that the purity of Haridas Thakur is in a higher state compared to any Brahmana or sannyasi. And that's what it says. You're consciously for, and you're far better than any Brahmana or sannyasi. Because his practice of devotion is so phenomenal. That's by holding the kusagras in his hand, he was able to light the fire. So that's a pastime you can remember. Okay, 192.
Where does it come, Prabhu?
It comes in further chapters, it will come. Yeah, further chapter it will come. I don't remember which chapter it comes.
Also, whipping also is a good pastime.
Whip. Those soldiers whipping, right?
Into the marketplaces.
Yes. And the beauty is there won't be any blood coming out of his body. Nothing happens to his body. And he is peaceful, no pain, nothing. And then he is giving them benediction to those soldiers. Yeah. Okay, 192. Someone read?
Hare Krishna. Chaitanya Charitamrita, sloka number 192. Ahopadashva pasoto kariyan yagjigvakre vartate ta namatupyam te pustavaste jahuvu sasnurarya brahmanusurnama krunanti ete. Translation. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then recited the following verse. My dear Lord, one who always keeps your holy name on his tongue becomes greater than an initiated Brahmana. Although he may be born in a family of dog-eaters and therefore by material calculation may be the lowest among men, he is still glorious. This is the wonderful effect of chanting the holy name of the Lord. It is therefore concluded that one who chants the holy name of the Lord should be understood to have performed all kinds of austerities and should be understood
and great sacrifices
mentioned in the Vedas. He has already taken his bath in all the holy places of pilgrimage. He has studied all the Vedas and he is actually an Aryan. But the word Aryan means advanced unless one is spiritually
advanced.
He cannot be called an Aryan. And this is the difference between Aryan and non-Aryan. Non-Aryans are those who are not spiritually advanced. By following the Vedic culture, by performing great spiritually advanced, by following the Vedic culture, the performing great sacrifices, and by becoming a strict follower of the Vedic instructions.
Madhya, you're jumbling many lines. By performing great sacrifices and becoming strict follower of the Vedic instruction, one may become a Brahmana, sannyasi, or an Aryan. Then read.
I read, Prabhuji. Advanced, he cannot be called an Aryan, and this is the difference between Aryan and non-Aryan. Non-Aryans are those who are not spiritually advanced,
by following the Vedic culture, by performing great sacrifices, and by becoming a strict follower of the Vedic instructions. One may become a Brahmana, a sannyasi, or an Aryan. It is not possible to become Brahmana, sannyasi, or Aryan without being properly qualified. Bhagavata Dharma never allows one to become a chief Brahmana, sannyasi, or Aryan. The qualities or qualifications described herein are quoted from Srimad Bhagavatam 3.33.7 and were spoken by Devahuti, the mother of Kapiladeva, when she understood the influence of devotional service, Bhakti Yoga. In this way, Devahuti praised the devotee, pointing out his greatness in all respects. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. So what's the conclusion of this passage? You don't need to go visit this place, that place. I have not gone to this temple, that temple. You don't need to go there. Oh, I have not taken bath in this river, that river. This is pending. You don't need to go there. Oh, 108 Divyadeshams. I need to visit all of them. You don't need to do that. Nothing you need to do. What do you need to do? You need to keep on taking shelter of the holy name. Then, what would have happened? He's already taken bath in the holy places of pilgrimage, all of them. He studied all the Vedas. And he has gone all kinds of austerities. And he's done all kinds of great sacrifices mentioned in the Vedas. Everything is complete. Just by chanting the holy name, one is accomplished. If one realizes this, then he'll be simply satisfied. He'll live in one place, go on chanting the holy name, and perfect his life. This realization has to come. This is one of the greatest difference between Goshthanadi and Bhajananandi. You know, Goshthanadi never leave their premises. You know that, no?
Yes, Prabhu.
They are always in that same place.
Bhajananandi, Prabhu, Bhajananandi.
Yeah, Goshthanandis, they go around, Prabhu.
Bhajananandi. We met that one yogi, no, in Ther Kadamba. Do you remember?
Yes, yes. Bhajan Kuti of Rupa Goswami.
So, correct, exactly. So, what was the conversation with him? When we asked him, he said he's never gone out of that place, Ther Kadamba. Correct, no? He's just lived there all the time. He's meditating on that pastime again and again and again and again and again. I don't know, infinite times you have meditated on the pastime, chanted the holy name. Can you believe that? We saw that one person, no? Remember, we asked him, he said that, no?
Yes, Prabhu, yes.
I didn't believe first. I didn't believe such things are possible, but there was a living example.
And every time he explains it, more enthusiasm. We went 3 times. 3 times also.
So much enthusiasm. Amazing. I'm sure he will not think anyone else or anything else outside of Krishna. He will definitely go back to Godhead because that's his consciousness. Nothing else is there. Okay, 193.
Also, Prabhupada has described here Aryan Prabhu. So much politics, or so much difficulty in understanding the word, but he has simplified here. What is Aryan?
So we have Dravidans and Aryans, right? So Aryans are God-favoring people. Sorry? Okay.
Prabhu, in Bhagavad Gita, 2nd chapter also, Krishna chastises him saying, you are non-Aryan, Anarya Jishtam.
I'm hearing echo from you, Mataji. Hello?
Prabhu, Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Yes, Mataji, tell me.
In 2nd chapter of Bhagavad Gita also, Krishna chastises Arjuna when he was not willing to fight, saying you are behaving like an Arya, not like an Arya. Aryan.
Yes. He tells that. Good. So our 2nd chapter revision is fresh in all your minds. Good.
Because we are reading the Prabhupada test.
So we have text next week. Now this week all escaped because of.
At least we got 15 days now.
Okay, 193. Yeah, let's read 193.
Next 193. Prabhu, you read, Prabhu, you read.
Heta bali tandrelana gela pushpo dhyana ati nibrete tandre dila ati nibrete tandre dila vasastane. Saying this, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took Haridas Thakur within the flower garden, and there, in a very secluded place, he showed him his residence. Right? So this is where Haridas Thakur started to reside in the later years. And he resided, he left his body also here. And then you will hear that pastimes. Mahaprabhu personally lifts him when he leaves his body and carries all the way to the beach, Samudra. Then there he performs the great Kirtan and does the Samadhi of Haridas Thakur. Okay, 194. And this place is also like visible to Chakra. You can't go into the temple, right? Every day you see the Chakra.
Prabhu, this is only Siddha Bakula, no, Prabhu?
Yeah, this is Siddha Bakula, correct. Okay, 194. Yeah, read what it is.
Destani rahekara nama sankirtana pratidina aisi ami kariva milan. Translation by Srila Prabhupada, Jai Srila Prabhupada. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu requested Haridasa Thakura, remain here and chant the Hare Krishna mantra. I shall personally come here and meet you daily. Hare Krishna.
Hare, what a gift. Huh? Lord is telling, chant the holy name. I'll come and visit you every day here. Huh? What a benediction. Can't believe it. 195.
Verse 195. Mandira chakra deki kariha pranamam eyitani tomara asibe prasadana. Translation by Srila Prabhupada, Jai Srila Prabhupada. Remain here peacefully and look at the chakra on the top of the temple and offer obeisances. As far as your prasadam is concerned, I shall arrange to have that sent here. Krishna. I wish I get a place like that, Prabhu.
You are. You are. This is what Prabhupada said. Prabhupada said, the beauty of a grihastha is he becomes in a grihastha life he becomes a Paramahamsa. Then he said, a position of a Paramahamsa is wherever he is, he makes his place a Vaikuntha. Not different. Right? So that's why you should read the purport of that song, Shuddha Bhakata Charana Renu Bhajana Anukula. That song, if you read the purports, you'll understand. A grihastha or person, he becomes Vaishnava, wherever he goes, that becomes Vrindavan. What is the meaning of Vrindavan? Lord will come there, he'll perform his pastime. Here the same thing. Lord comes here every day. So I'll send you prashadam, I'll send you this. I'll come here every day. So he's telling us, you do like Haridas Thakura, I'll come there everywhere. Okay, read Mataji, purport.
Since he was born in Muslim family, Srila Haridasa Thakura could not enter the temple of Jagannatha due to temple restrictions. Nonetheless, he was recognized by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as Namacharya Haridasa Thakura. Haridas Thakura, however, considered himself unfit to enter the Jagannatha temple. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu could have personally taken Haridasa Thakura into the Jagannath temple if he wished, but the Lord did not like to disturb a popular custom. Consequently, the Lord asked his servant simply to look at the Vishnu wheel on top of the temple and offer obeisances. Namaskara. This means that if one is not allowed to enter the temple, or if he thinks himself unfit to enter the temple, he can look at the wheel from outside the temple. And this is as good as seeing the deity within. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu promised to come daily to see Srila Haridasa Thakura, and this indicates that Srila Haridas Thakura was so advanced in spiritual life that although considered unfit to enter the temple, he was being personally visited by the Lord every day. Nor was there any need for his going outside his residence to collect food, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu assured Haridasa Thakura that the remnants of its food would be sent there. As the Lord states in Bhagavad Gita 9.22, Yoga Kshema Pahamyaham. I arrange all life's necessities for my devotees. A reference is made here for those who are very anxious to imitate the behavior of Thakura Haridasa in an unnatural way. One must receive the order of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu or his representative before adopting such a way of life. The duty of a pure devotee or a servant of the Lord is to carry out the order of the Lord. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked Nityananda Prabhu to go to Bengal and preach, and he asked the Goswamis, Rupa and Sanatana, to go to Vrindavana and excavate the lost places of pilgrimage. In this case, Lord asked Haridas Thakura to remain there at Jagannathapuri and constantly chant the holy names of the Lord. Thus, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave different person different orders, and consequently, one should not try to imitate the behavior of Haridas Thakura without being ordered by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu or his representative. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakura condemns such imitations in this way. Dushtamana tumi kisera Vaishnava pratisthara tare niranjanera ghare tava hari nama nirjanera ghare tava hari nama kevala kaitava. My dear mind, you are trying to imitate Haridasa Thakura and chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra in a secluded place. But you are not worth being called a Vaishnava, because what you want is cheap popularity and not the actual qualifications of Haridas Thakura. If you try to imitate him, you will fall down, for your neophyte position will cause you to think of women and money. Thus, you will fall into the clutches of Maya, and your so-called chanting in a secluded place will bring about your downfall. Hare Krishna.
Hari.
That's why we are asked to chant in association.
Yeah. Chant in association. Actually, one day what happened, Guru Maharaj was walking with his servants. Okay. He saw a devotee sitting in a secluded place and he was chanting. Immediately he told him, there are all devotees in the temple chanting there, go there and chant with them. Not even a second he wasted to tell that instruction. So realized souls, they know this A to Z. They've seen the truth and they practice it all the time. You must have seen that video, no? In Mayapur, when His Holiness Jayaprakash Maharaj would be speaking something. He'll just give an interview, a simple interview, but there'll be one devotee standing next to him and then recording. So they'll ask him, what are you recording? He said, no, every Vakya of Guru is transcendental. You should hear it again and again. So hence I'm recording. And then Guru Maharaj stands there and then acknowledges, yes, Guru's words are transcendental. So like that, you see, the messages of the Lord, Nityananda Prabhu, Srila Prabhupada, Bhaktisiddhanta, all are completely transcendent. Every word, you should take the meaning directly and apply it for you. Yes, it's been told to me, I shall follow it. Very, very important. If you apply logic, we saw Krishna telling Arjuna, never speculate on sense objects, correct? When you get speculating on sense objects, what happens to you? You get attracted to the sense object. When you get attracted to the sense object, what happens to you? It becomes lust, and that lust becomes anger. Yes? Did you not read this?
Yes, Prabhu. We read 260, 263.
So Krishna told us. Very clear. So why we should speculate? We should not speculate on the Vedas. We should not speculate on the instructions of the Guru, the Acharya. No speculation. Speculation should never happen. Speculation is a cause of downfall. It's very difficult once you fall down to get up again. If the fall down is out of minor issues, then it's fine. If the fall down is deeper, tough. Okay, next sloka, who's going to read?
I'll read.
I'll read, Prabhu.
Prabhupada himself used to listen to his own lectures, no, Prabhu.
Yeah, that's a beautiful pastime, no?
Yes, Prabhu.
That pastime is, Prabhupada told, I didn't write Srimad Bhagavatam.
Yeah.
Krishna came and wrote. He just used me as an instrument. He spoke and he wrote. So after writing, I'm trying to read my own Bhagavatam because I want to know what is written there. I have to learn. So, yeah, please read.
Hare Krishna. Nityananda Jagadananda Damodara Mukunda Haridasa Mile Sabe Paila Ananda. When Nityananda Prabhu, Jagadananda Prabhu, Damodara Prabhu and Mukunda Prabhu met Haridasa Thakura, they all became very pleased. Hare Krishna.
Very. Okay. So 187. Yeah.
Samudra snana kari Prabhu aila nija sthane Advaitadi gela sindhu kari bare snane. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu returned to his residence after taking a bath in the sea, all the devotees headed by Advaita Prabhu went to bathe in the sea. Hare Krishna.
The entire sea is transcendental because Mahaprabhu took bath there. Okay, 198.
I'll read Prabhu. Text 11.198. Asi Jagannatera Kala Chuda Darashana Prabhura Avase Aila Karite Bhojana. After bathing in the sea, Advaita Prabhu and all other devotees returned, and on their return, they saw the top of the Jagannatha temple. They then went to the residence of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to take their lunch on.
Okay, so look at it. Few verses back, we saw Chaitanya Mahaprabhu instructing. After taking bath, take darshan of the chakra and then go. Now, see exactly how Advaita Prabhu is following. So we have to do the same thing. That's it. Following the instructions of the Guru and the Lord is devotion. Let me repeat. Following the instruction of the Lord and Guru is devotion. Okay. 199.
Yeah, Bhadrachalam also, no, Prabhu, at the Sanctum Sanctorium on top of that Gopura, there was Sudarshan Chakra. So when I Prabhu told later. But
yeah, you went and saw, no? You went and saw.
Yeah, I went again and saw Prabhu. But first I didn't know. Then started observing. Now all the temples when I visit, I started observing them.
So, actually, one thing we do is we just blindly walk around. We don't see what is there, so many magnificent things are there. We fail to watch. Yeah. That Sudarshan pastime is a little bit different in Bhadra.
Yes.
Oh, someone is very busy.
Cooking.
Okay, read next.
Text 199. Sabare Vasaila Prabhu Yogya Karma Kari. Krama Kari. Yogya Krama Kari. Sri Haste Pariveshana Kaila Gaura Hari. Translation. One after the other, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu made all the devotees sit in their proper places. He then began to distribute prasadam with his own transcendental hand. Hari Hari.
Hari. So when the Lord can do that, we are also supposed to serve devotees with nice prasad. Okay, 200. Nice number. Who's going to read?
200. Odi Mataj. Alpa anna nahi aise dite prabhura hate dui tinera anna dena eka pate. All the devotees were served prasadam on plantain leaves and
Plantain leaves. Banana leaves.
And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu distributed on each leaf a quantity suitable for 2 or 3 men to eat, for his hand could not distribute less than that.
So now let me ask you a question. So many Matajis are here. How many Matajis here have a, what do you say?
Bigger hand.
Big hand. Big hand means not physically big hand, heartfully big hand. Which means they will give away, serve a lot. Matajis do not have a big hand. They'll always make less quantity, serve less. Huh? See, Mahaprabhu is showing that here.
Prabhu, one thing, remember that we went to Purni and then we did the seva for the Lord. And then when we actually went and had prasadam, the same thing, even the people who are serving us, they give us so big plantain leaves, and on top of that, they were giving so much of sabjis and rice and all those things. We hardly could eat it. We had to request them to actually give a little less.
Yeah, correct. Daime Prabhu, you want to read? You want to read on sloka? You there, Prabhu? Daime Prabhu? Okay. Oh, you're driving. Okay. Okay, no problem, Prabhu. Okay. 2 more slokas for the day. We'll end it. Who's going to read?
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Text 201. Prabhu Aile keha na kare bhojana urdhva haste vasi rahe sarva bhakta gana. Translation: all the devotees kept their hands raised over the prasadam distributed to them, but they did not want to eat without seeing the Lord eat first. Hare Krishna.
Hari, Hari. Very nice transcendental consciousness. 202.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Actually, I'll tell you my personal realization one day. So one day morning I got up and I was preparing the Aarti paraphernalia to perform the Aarti. Right. So generally what we do, first we offer some fruits and then we do the Aarti. Okay. So that day, while I was preparing Aarti paraphernalia, I made to offer the fruits. That time I felt very hungry that day. I felt really hungry. I don't know why. So what I did, I went and ate some dry fruits. These dry fruits were offered some time back, maybe 10-15 days back, and they were kept in a box. So I ate few dry fruits. Then I again went to prepare the paraphernalia, and then I was cutting the fruits for the Lord. So then it struck me. See, the Lord is yet to take his morning bhoga, but I took before the Lord. How am I qualified to offer Aarti today? I'm not eligible. So then I felt very bad. So I went again and did my Achamanyam and purified myself and came back and did. So you see, as we start to practice, we'll start to get such a consciousness of how do we, go to higher and higher state. We will get such consciousness. I mean, I thought I'd just share.
Your Achamanyam teaching is wonderful, Prabhu.
You all do it, huh?
Yes, we are very regular.
Yes. Okay, last sloka for the day. 202. Who's going to read?
Hare Krishna Prabhu, I'll read text 202. Swarupa Gosai Prabhu ke Kaila Nivedana Tumi na vasile keha na kare bhojana. Translation: Swarupa Damodara Goswami then informed Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, unless you sit and take prasadam, no one will accept it. Hare Krishna.
So that's very important. Now look at it. No one made this thing, but Swarup Damodar understood the mode of devotees, immediately informs the Lord. Yeah, good. So I have a request to all the Vaishnavas here. Hare Krishna.
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay, so Nimai, my son Nimai, Sri Nimai, today while playing football in school, I don't know whether he got pushed or he fell down, something happened and he fell down very badly and he has fractured his hand. So we got a call from the school and we rushed to the school to bring him home. We took him to the doctor and our Savita Mataji, husband Dr. Prakash attended. He came to the emergency. So in the hand, we have 2 bones. One of the bones got cracked and a little bit twisted and happened. So then he's put this one bandage and all these things, and he's now sleeping, taking rest. So my humble request to please pray for the wellness of Nimai. so that he recovers and I am able to practice devotion properly. So,
Calm and composed, Prabhu. Sthita prajna you are.
so please pray for Nimai. Okay.
Let us all chant for Nimai.
Yes. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Prabhu, we pray for his fast recovery, Prabhu.
Prabhu, I chant one round for him, Prabhu, and it will heal, Prabhu. Don't worry. He's a small kid, no? It will grow back.
Yeah, that's the hope.
It will grow back. You don't worry, Prabhu.
He's very young, Prabhu. You will recover fast.
Thank you so much for all your prayers. Randaraj, Chaitanya Charitamrita ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gurudev ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande.
Hari Hari.
Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyeva cha Saranam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Ananta Koti Vaishnav ki jai. Dr. Sri Haridas Thakur ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. Dandavat pranam.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna.
Chudu.